斗破顶林修崖号Introduction. www.zhaozuiyuan.com Lin Xiuya crosses the world of Dopa sky and tops the Dopa Lin Xiuya how. Is Lin Xiuya the protagonist? https://www.zhaozuiyuan.com. Chapter 1. Rebirth into Lin Xiuya. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya looked at himself in the mirror before him, almost completely transformed, but the only thing that remained unchanged was his innate handsomeness. That's right, Lin Xiuya finally met Lin Xiuya after crossing the sky of wealth and prosperity. Lin Xiuya comes from a distant blue star, and the original owner of the body that Lin Xiuya now occupies shares the same name and surname as him, also known as Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya on the blue star was originally happily crossing over with his own city walk, but suddenly a loud sound came from the clear sky, thunder. This sky cultivation has collapsed and the purple gold hammer has fallen. Lin Xiuya was struck by a purple lightning that struck this Duki continent. Sigh. I don't know if the cross-washing standing next to me at the time has turned into an electric kid. Lin Xiuya knew from the memory fragments of the original owner of his current body that he had received a few minutes ago that he had traveled to the Duki continent where the Snake Control Master's anti-inflammatory medicine was located. And now I have successfully topped the second place list of the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy in the original novel, Lin Xiuya. However, at present, Lin Xiuya has not yet become the second strongest on the list, and even has not entered the inner courtyard yet. Because Yuan Lin Xiuya had just come to this Canaan Academy for further studies, he was given the top title by Xian Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya patted his face, took a breath, and tried to calm his mood. If Lin Xiuya hasn't entered the inner courtyard yet, then the plot of this Duki continent probably hasn't started yet. Lin Xiuya silently stroked his thoughts. In my memory, Lin Xiuya is only 20 years old now, and when he met Xiao Yan, he looked like he was 23 years old. At that time, Xiao Yan was around 18 years old. Now, Xiao Yan should only be around 15 years old. If that's the case, Lin Xiuya's fate can also be changed. Lin Xiuya, as a man who has seen the Dopa several times, also knows that the original Lin Xiuya can eventually reach the Do Zun realm, which can be considered a good ending. But as a member of the army of time travelers, Lin Xiuya doesn't want to lose face with countless time travelers. He also wants to become the most skilled man. After all, men can't say no, can they? I have kidney deficiency, but did I say I can't do it? So Lin Xiuya must take action, system. 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 Suddenly, Lin Xiuya shouted 3 times in his room, attempting to summon his golden finger through this method. Unfortunately, there was no response. Since the system can't count on it anymore, Lin Xiuya has to work hard on his own. Lin Xiuya believes that as long as he keeps working hard, he will eventually have a good ending. So Lin Xiuya began to work hard. Grandpa. 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 Lin Xiuya tried to raise his decibel as much as possible and shouted out his legendary, grandfather. Hee hee. Naughty. Play hide and seek with me, right? Lin Xiuya couldn't believe that as a member of the crossing army, he didn't have a buff bonus. I won't eat until I'm not hungry today. Lin Xiuya, after trying in different ways for a period of time, finally accepted the tragic fact that he didn't have a golden finger. And turned sorrow into strength, and begin to cultivate. In the original work, Lin Xiuya is from the Lin family in Qingtian City, located in the eastern region of Zhongzhou in Duki continent. The Lin family is said to have a strong family influence with Dozong, which is neither big nor small. One of the main reasons why Lin Xiuya did not choose to cultivate within his family, but instead traveled thousands of miles to the Canaan Academy located in the Black Horn domain, to practice is the Tianfen refining tower in the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy. Relying on the heart fire ability of falling heart inflammation, the Tianfen refining tower has become a place where cultivators can quickly improve their strength. Therefore, the Qianfen refining tower is also known as a cultivation cheat tool. And the original Lin Xiuya naturally pursued the burning of the refining tower that day. Nowadays, Lin Xiuya also needs it very much, so Lin Xiuya needs to work hard to cultivate and not eat until he is not hungry. The original cultivation technique of Lin Xiuya was the low-level, clear wind decision. Lin Xiuya follows the memory of the clear wind, and the strands of fighting spirit between heaven and earth are constantly sucked into his body by Lin Xiuya. Duqi follows a specific path determined by the clear wind, flowing through the major muscles and veins of the Lin Xiu cliff, and finally converging within the dantian. Are there benefits for travelers? Lin Xiuya felt that his current absorption speed of fighting spirit was at least twice as fast as the original Lin Xiuya's memory. I think it's because my soul power has become stronger. I hope to break through to the Big Dipper 7-star soon. Yes, the original Lin Xiuya has already helped Lin Xiuya cultivate to the level of the Big Dipper Master's 6 stars, and is on the verge of breaking through the Big Dipper Master's 7 stars. Lin Xiuya thought that after occupying the body of the original Lin Xiuya, he also absorbed his soul fragments. It must be that his soul power is more than 1 point stronger than ordinary people, and it is reasonable for his cultivation speed to become faster. There is no time between cultivation. One day, Lin Xiuya's heart was overjoyed, because in the cyclone of his dantian, the diamond-shaped dojing, which belonged to the symbol of the great dosher, was like a star, constantly emitting strange light. Suddenly, the suction on the thumb-sized dojing inside the body surged, and a large amount of duqi was absorbed by it. The thumb-sized dojing slowly grew up under the nurturing of duqi, and finally reached the size of a pigeon egg before stopping at zhaozuiyuan.com. And Lin Xiuya also successfully rose to the 7-star realm of the Great Dipper Master. I don't know how long I've been practicing. Let's go out and take a look first. Lin Xiuya knew that he had just broken through now, and continuing his cultivation would probably not have much effect. Moreover, he had previously devoted himself wholeheartedly to cultivation and did not feel hungry, but now as soon as he broke through, his stomach's thirst for food occupied his mind. Lin Xiuya tidied up his clothes inside his own house and pushed the door open before leaving. Lin Xiuya looked at the Duqi continent in front of him and couldn't help but shout loudly, "Ladies and gentlemen of Duqi continent, welcome your king." After filling his stomach in the cafeteria outside Canaan College, Lin Xiuya didn't know what to do for a while. Forget it, let's continue back to practice. Lin Xiuya thought for a while, but currently there is really no good place to go. Can't we go to Gulan to listen to music, right? Besides, this Canaan Academy doesn't have any land. Moreover, according to memory, there are still 3 months left until the inner courtyard selection competition. With Lin Xiuya's current strength, passing the selection is not a big problem, but Lin Xiuya wants more than just a spot in the inner courtyard. Each outer courtyard disciple selected by the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy needs to participate in a fire hunting competition before becoming a true inner courtyard disciple. The importance of fire energy, as Lin Xiuya naturally knew, was related to the duration of his cultivation in the Qianfen refining tower. Lin Xiuya plans to improve his strength as much as possible in the next 3 months. Not only will he be able to compete against the fire energy of the old students in the inner courtyard like Xiao Yan in the fire energy hunting competition, but he must also maintain his own ignition energy. Thinking of this, Lin Xiuya silently returned to his residence alone. Chapter 2. Cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Lin Xiuya returned to his residence, he carefully explored the storage ring in his hand and searched for something that could enhance his strength. Lin Xiuya comes from the Lin family in Zhongzhou, and the good things in his hands are not to be underestimated. Oh, I found it. After searching for a while, Lin Xiuya found a green spirit pill with 1 pattern and 3 patterns in his storage ring. Sanwen Qing Ling Dan is a 4th grade pill. Ordinary Sanwen Qing Ling has a small chance of helping the strong master of the Great Do to increase their level by 1 star, and it has no medicinal effect or backlash. The Sanwen Qing Ling Dan is divided into 3 levels, and each level will form a circle of Dan patterns on the body of the Dan. If 3 circles of Dan patterns can be formed, it is the highest level of Sanwen Qing Ling Dan. The Do Shi has a chance to increase the strength of 3 stars in a short period of time by taking the highest grade 3-striped green spirit pill. People in the realm of the Do Shi only have one chance to take it in their lifetime, because after taking the Sanwen Qing Ling Dan, their body will develop resistance, causing the Sanwen Qing Ling Dan taken later to lose its intended effect. What makes Lin Xiuya feel regretful is that the 3 green spirit pills in his hand are only 1, which means that this pill can only increase his cultivation by 1 star, and it is also a probability event. Lin Xiuya scrutinized the Sanwen Qing Ling Dan in his hand for a while, then shook his head and put it into his storage ring. Lin Xiuya plans to gradually elevate his cultivation to the peak of the Big Dipper Master's 7 stars before taking this 3-striped green spirit pill. In that case, we should be able to directly break through to the Big Dipper 8 star. The cultivation speed of Lin Xiuya, whose soul strength has greatly increased, is indeed fast. In just half a month, Lin Xiuya's cultivation has reached the peak level of the Big Dipper Master 7 stars. It's a move. After Lin Xiuya broke through to the peak of the Big Dipper Master's 7 stars, he did not stop his cultivation. Instead, he took out the ordinary level 3-striped green spirit pill from the storage ring and took it orally. The Sanwen Qing Ling Dan melts at the entrance, and before Lin Xiuya can react, it quickly transforms into pure energy, like a rushing river that rolls down Lin Xiuya's throat, roaring with anger and pouring into his meridians. Lin Xiuya, who was already prepared, naturally did not fear it. He fully operated the Qingfeng Ju, pulling the massive energy of the 3 stripes green spirit Danhua to move along the path of the cultivation method. However, the energy of the 3 stripes green spirit pill is truly powerful. When it runs through the muscles of Lin Xiu Cliff, it hits Lin Xiu Cliff in pain. Fortunately, Lin Xiuya is also the one who has endured hardships, gritting his teeth and persistently transforming the medicinal power of the 3 stripes Qingling pill into a part of his dojing. After a while, the medicinal power of the Sanwen Qingling Dan was fully absorbed by Lin Xiuya, and the dojing inside Lin Xiuya's body also increased from the size of a pigeon egg to the size of an egg. Lin Xiuya officially became a strong fighter with 8 stars. After breaking through to 8 stars, Lin Xiuya continued to absorb the fighting spirit between heaven and earth, stabilizing his cultivation. It seems that there should be no problem upgrading to the Big Dipper Master's 9 stars before the fire hunting competition. It's best to break through to the doling. It is said that there is a bottleneck barrier between the 9 stars of the Great Dosher and the 1 star of the doling, and breaking through to the doling may not be as simple. Lin Xiuya, who has just broken through, is in a great mood and will no longer continue his cultivation. He plans to take a good look at the outer courtyard of the Canaan Academy. He has been on this otherworldly continent for over half a month and has not yet fully experienced it. Lin Xiuya fell behind in his own courtyard and had not yet traveled far when he met an acquaintance. Lin Xiuya. How about sparring with me? A rough voice came from in front of Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya glanced into his eyes and noticed that the person making the sound was a burly man with a slightly stubble on his face. The man had a strong physique, with 2 heads taller than the average person. His massive physique made him feel a strange sense of oppression. At first glance, he was covered in steel-like muscle blocks, a muscular man. And the person has a strong aura on their body, obviously they are also a little expert. Hee. Who did I say it was? It turned out to be Yen. It seems like you have made a breakthrough, right? Based on memory comparison, Lin Xiuya determined that the demon flesh man in front of him who was about to fight was Yan Hao, who had a good relationship with the original Lin Xiuya. Haha. Not bad, I have broken through to the Big Dipper Master 6 stars. I want to find you to clear my previous shame. Yan Hao refers to the shame of being defeated by Lin Xiuya in a duel with him a month ago. Okay, let's go to the old place. Since he met Yan Hao, Lin Xiuya had to pause his city walk and walk to the sparsely populated back mountain with Yan Hao. At the back mountain, after battling several moves, Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao retreated relative to each other under the immense power. Hey! I felt something was wrong before, it seems like you've also broken through. Yan Hao, holding a black giant hammer, grinned. It's just a slight feeling, Lin Xiuya replied to Yan Hao with a smile, holding a long sword that was over 3 feet long in his hand. Although that's the case, Lin Xiuya, you still need to be careful. Yan Hao's expression tightened as he forcefully grasped the tungsten steel hammer in his hands and swung it towards Lin Xiuya with great force. Lin Xiuya looked at the tungsten steel hammer in Yan Hao's hand, which was shining with a faint light, and dared not slack off at all. Lin Xiuya's internal fighting energy rapidly circulated, with a focus on flowing above his feet. Lin Xiuya didn't want to confront Yan Hao, a muscular man, and planned to win with speed and agility. Quickly, the tungsten steel hammer in Yan Hao's hand had already hit the book garden www.zhaozuiyuan.com. Lin Xiuya moved at the foot of the cliff, and his long sword deflected Yan Hao's tungsten steel hammer from the side. Then, the long sword sliced up along the handle of the tungsten steel hammer. Yan Hao on the opposite side did not swing his hammer to defend himself, but directly held a tungsten steel hammer in one hand and hung it aside. At the same time, Yan Hao's internal fighting spirit surged rapidly, and the skin on the surface of his body became like a rock, with a grayish-white color. Yan Hao's fighting spirit belongs to the earth type and is also a relatively rare rock fighting spirit. This fighting spirit can make the practitioner's body as hard as rock, and his defense is amazing. Although Lin Xiuya's long sword struck Yan Hao, it did not cause any damage, only leaving a gray-white mark on Yan Hao's chest. The Hammer of Hurricane. After fiercely resisting Lin Xiuya's sword, Yan Hao immediately reacted and used his advanced combat technique, the Hammer of the Hurricane, at the Xuanjia level. Suddenly, Yan Hao, holding a tungsten steel hammer in both hands, swung a circle and attacked Lin Xiuya, rolling up gusts of wind like a spinning top. Lin Xiuya immediately placed his sword horizontally on his chest, resisting Yan Hao's heavy blow. Yan Hao is truly a devil's flesh and blood man, he is truly powerful. As soon as Lin Xiuya came into contact with Yan Hao's tungsten steel hammer, he immediately felt a tremendous force coming from him. Lin Xiuya had to step back to remove the tremendous force that was acting on him. Although Lin Xiuya retreated in time, his hands were still numb from the shock. After slowing down, Lin Xiuya immediately used his intermediate-level combat skill, Qingxian Fengsha. The fighting spirit within Lin Xiuya's body was activated, and countless fighting spirit small long swords were suddenly condensed from his body. Finally, under the guidance of Lin Xiuya, they converged into a large blue sword and fiercely thrust towards Yan Hao's side. Chapter 3. Blue Spirit Fruit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ah, I didn't expect to lose to you. Yan Hao looked at Lin Xiuya, who was dressed in green clothes and had an extraordinary temperament, and smiled bitterly. Lucky luck. Lucky luck. Lin Xiuya withdrew his 3-foot green blade from his storage ring and responded with a clasped fist and a smile. Hey. Losing means losing, it's me Yan Hao who's not as skilled as anyone. Yan Hao smiled and waved his hand, admitting Lin Xiuya's excellence before changing the tone. By the way, Lin Xiuya, it's less than 3 months until the day of the inner courtyard selection competition. Do you have any confidence in dealing with that kid Lu Qing? Lu Qing. Upon hearing this name, Lin Xiuya's mind immediately conjured up the image of the domineering and leaking man. According to the development of the original work, Lu Qing is a formidable opponent on par with Lin Xiuya, and there is no saying who is stronger or weaker between the two. But now, it will be different, hee. I'll have to fight before I know. Lin Xiuya naturally wouldn't boast that he could definitely hold on to Lu Qing. Huh, that's it too. Yan Hao laughed heartily and walked towards Lin Xiuya, then hugged Lin Xiuya's shoulder and said. Let's go. Let's go have a drink. Let's go. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao walked together towards the fragrant tower in Canaan City. Piao Xiang Lu is the largest restaurant in the city of Canaan, famous for its signature Piao Xiang liquor. Ha! Isn't that Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao? I didn't expect them both to come to this fragrant tower today. Cousin, who are these two people? A slightly green young man asked the slightly older man next to him. Oh, you just came to our Canaan Academy and didn't know about it. The shorter one among these two is Lin Xiuya, and the taller one is Yan Hao. They are both top-notch experts in the outer courtyard of our Canaan Academy. That's right, and I think there must be a place for the two of them in the top 5 of this year's inner courtyard selection competition. Before the slightly older man could finish speaking, someone next to him rushed to say. Yes, but no matter what. These two people are not something we can afford to provoke. The slightly older man didn't get angry after being interrupted by others, turned around and patted his cousin's shoulder with a smile. Hee hee. Lin Xiuya, it seems that our reputation in this outer courtyard is not small. Yan Hao heard the voices of others' discussions and smiled at Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya chuckled lightly and took the lead in walking towards the fragrant pavilion. Waiter, bring 2 pots of fragrant wine and serve all the signature dishes once. After Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao casually found a seat on the first floor of the fragrant tower and sat down, Yan Hao shouted to the waiter to serve wine and food. Okay. Objectively, please wait a moment, the shop assistant also shouted in response to Yan Hao. By the way, Lin Xiuya, I forgot to tell you something. While waiting for the waiter to serve, Yan Hao suddenly remembered something. What's going on? Not long ago, a primary school girl named Hanyu invited me to go to the deep mountains behind me. It's not as you think, it's the elementary school girl who discovered a green spirit fruit tree in a valley deep behind the mountain. However, there is a 4th-level demon beast, the cold ice snake, with only the power of the Doling star, guarding there. So she invited me to fight against the cold ice snake, but I'm afraid we can't deal with it either, so I want you to go together. Yan Hao explained as he looked at Lin Xiuya with a surprised expression on his face. I didn't think much, Lin Xiuya muttered to himself. In my memory, this green spirit fruit tree is a 5th-level spiritual plant, which can produce 5th-level green spirit fruits, and this green spirit fruit is very beneficial for improving cultivation. Coincidentally, Lin Xiuya doesn't have much to do now, so he agreed to Yan Hao's invitation. Well, when you go there, call me out. That's a good relationship, come on, drink first. At this moment, Lin Xiuya and his companions also served their food and drinks. 2 days later, Brother Xiuya, let's go to the outskirts of the deep mountains and gather with the elementary school girls first. Good. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao rushed towards the deep mountains outside the Canaan Academy, one behind the other. Both of them were strong fighters, and their steps were not slow. They quickly arrived at the outskirts of the deep mountain. Senior Yan Hao, you're here. A faint and cold voice suddenly sounded ahead. Lin Xiuya's gaze followed the sound and saw a young woman dressed in a silver dress. The woman had a tall figure, and although her cheeks were slightly thin, they were a rare beautiful face. Her skin was fair as snow, and her eyebrows and eyes were picturesque. Moreover, this woman had long silver hair that reached her waist, emitting a cool aura all over her body. Featuring silver hair, Lin Xiuya confirmed that the woman making a sound ahead was Hanyu. Next, Yan Hao also confirmed Lin Xiuya's conjecture. Hanyu, you've been waiting for so long. Yan Hao and Lin Xiuya stopped in their tracks. Yan Hao looked at Hanyu and said, then pointed to Lin Xiuya next to him, this is Lin Xiuya, the helper I called. With him around, our chances of success will become very high. Is Lin Xiuya a senior? I've heard a lot about you. My name is Hanyu. Han Yu looked at Lin Xiuya dressed in green and arched her hand, while also admiring Lin Xiuya's extraordinary temperament in her heart. This is Senior Mo Yen, who also came together to deal with that 4th-level monster. Find Xiuya on www.zhaoxuyuan.com. Han Yu was not alone waiting for Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao, there was also a relatively ordinary-looking man next to him. Lin Xiuya, observing its aura, should also be a master of martial arts, but compared to himself, it still lacks some meaning. Brother Lin, Brother Yen. Mo Yen bowed and greeted Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao. Okay, since everyone is here, senior students, please follow me. After speaking, Han Yu took the lead in drilling towards the continuous mountain range in the rear. Lin Xiuya and 3 others followed closely behind and began to advance towards the location of the blue spirit fruit tree. On the way, Lin Xiuya and the others did not encounter any trouble and arrived unobstructed in front of the valley where Han Yu said there was a green spirit fruit tree. Senior students, the Bai Ling fruit tree is located in the valley ahead. Counting the days, the Bai Ling fruit on it should also mature. Han Yu pointed to the valley ahead and said. Upon hearing Han Yu's words, the expressions of Lin Xiuya and the 3 of them began to become serious. After all, they still had to fight against monsters equivalent to human spirit warriors later. Lin Xiuya took out a large sword from the storage ring and said to Yan Hao and the 3 others. Let's go. Lin Xiuya and his 4 companions rushed towards the interior of the valley one after another. Not long after, Lin Xiuya and his team saw the blue spirit fruit tree in Han Yu's mouth. This Bai Ling fruit tree is not very tall or large, only the size of a grapefruit tree on a blue star. However, there are quite a few Bai Ling fruits hanging on it, roughly speaking, there are about 20 of them. Which man doesn't love a thin branch hanging with fruitful fruit? As his gaze moved downwards from the blue spirit fruit, Lin Xiuya saw a blue and white giant snake hovering under the tree. It must be the guardian monster of the blue spirit fruit tree, the cold ice snake. Up. Chapter 4. Ice Snake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The leader among the 4 is Yan Hao. Yan Hao doesn't need to say much. He is a devil's flesh and blood person who can resist beating. It's reasonable for him to lead the way. At the moment when everyone started fighting, the cold ice snake under the fruit tree opened its eyes full of icy coldness, staring fixedly at Lin Xiuya and the others, while its forked message kept swallowing. Bang! Quickly, Yan Hao's tungsten steel hammer collided fiercely with the huge tail of the cold ice snake. The physical body of the warcraft was indeed strong enough to collide with Yan Hao's incredibly hard tungsten steel hammer. It didn't happen much and shook Yan Hao back several meters away. At the same time, the mouth of the cold ice snake opened, spewing out a cold breath, and the 3 of Lin Xiuya, who were attacking from the back, swept over. Be careful. Lin Xiuya reminded him with his mouth and pulled out the sword flower with his long sword, forming a blue barrier with fighting spirit to block the cold energy of the ice snake. The huge body of the cold ice snake, driven by its muscles, rushed towards Lin Xiuya. When the snake's body, which was more than 10 meters long, rushed towards it, it was terrifying. Lin Xiuya exerted force under his feet, trying to dodge the impact of the cold snake at his own speed. However, Lin Xiuya's actual combat experience was still a bit lacking, and his reaction slowed down a step. In the end, he was still sidelined by the cold ice snake. Seeing Lin Xiuya being hit by a cold ice snake, Yan Hao grinned and his fighting spirit surged inside. He covered his tungsten steel hammer with both hands and swung it towards the head of the cold ice snake. I'll restrain it, you fight quickly and make a quick decision, so as not to cause any unexpected changes. Okay. Senior Yan Hao, be careful. Lin Xiuya didn't say anything, but first distanced himself from the cold ice snake, and then, Qin Yan sword gang. Lin Xiuya directly drained most of his fighting energy and used it all to unleash his strongest combat skill at present. The Xian level advanced combat skill. Han Yu and Mo Yen saw the situation and used all their strength to cooperate with Yen Hao to restrain the cold ice snake and buy time for Lin Xiuya. The cold ice snake could feel the threat from Lin Xiuya's side, so it wanted to ignore the attack of Yen Hao and the three of them, twisting its huge snake body towards Lin Xiuya's side. However, the more the cold ice snake was like this, the more Yen Hao and his team refused to let it approach towards Lin Xiuya. Yen Hao even gathered a yellow fighting spirit armor on his chest to resist the cold ice snake's attack, in order to stop its advance. Everyone disperse. Lin Xiuya has completed the energy storage of the Qin Yen sword gang, and a blue giant sword condensed from fighting spirit appears in front of him. Go. Under the control of Lin Xiuya, the blue giant sword carried supreme power and swung towards the cold ice snake. The cold ice snake saw that it was impossible for it to avoid the blue giant sword of Lin Xiuya. It decided to hover in a circle in place, open its big mouth, and spray countless cold air, building a thick ice wall to block itself from behind. Unfortunately, before the construction of the cold ice snake could be completed, Lin Xiuya's blue giant sword had already struck it. Despite the thick skin of the ice snake, it was still torn apart by Lin Xiuya's strongest blow. Suddenly, a large amount of snake blood couldn't stop flowing out, with a hint of blood flowing into a river. Everyone, be careful not to be suddenly counterattacked by it. Lin Xiuya knew that no matter what kind of creature, it would always unleash extraordinary power in desperate situations. As Lin Xiuya had guessed, the severely injured ice snake let out a roar, and the fierce aura in its eyes reached its peak. The cold ice snake opened its bloodthirsty jaws and bit towards Lin Xiuya, wanting to kill the despicable human who had seriously injured it. Unfortunately, the ice snake is not the protagonist, and when it's about to die, it can always counter-attack its opponents. Lin Xiuya and the four of them did not continue to choose to confront the cold snake head-on, but instead flew kites to block the snake's escape route to prevent it from escaping. Not long after, the cold ice snake completely collapsed, with a pair of huge snake eyes devoid of vitality. Hey! Lin Xiuya, your Qin Yen sword gang is really powerful. If I get hit, I'm afraid I'll either die or be injured. After the cold ice snake died completely, Yen Hao approached Lin Xiuya and chuckled. Try again. The strong enemy was already dead, and Lin Xiuya also relaxed and made a joke with Yen Hao. Say it again, say it again. Hee hee. Yen Hao let out a ha. Alright, let's go take a look at our spoils first. Lin Xiuya waved his hand and walked towards the blue spirit fruit tree. On the fruit tree side, Han Yu has already picked all the Bailing fruits from the fruit tree. There are a total of 25 Bailing fruits, so Lin Xiuya Sr. has 7, and we each have 6. How about that? No problem. Yen Hao and Mo Yen have no objections to Han Yu's allocation, because strictly speaking, Lin Xiuya is the person who truly killed the cold ice snake. After Han Yu finished distributing the Bailing fruit, she walked towards the body of the cold ice snake and began to dissect it. Seeing Han Yu's movements, Lin Xiuya and the others went together to help Han Yu dissect the body of the cold ice snake. After dissecting, Han Yu wanted to take the magic core of the cold ice snake to Lin Xiuya. But it was stopped by Lin Xiuya. You can divide the body of this cold snake, I don't need it anymore. Didn't I take 7 blue spirit fruits? Speaking of which, although the Lin family where Lin Xiuya is located may not be considered a super big clan, it is undoubtedly the best among the 4 people. The resources given to him by the family are not small, so Lin Xiuya is still willing to use these small resources to form a good relationship with Han Yu and the others. That's good. Then let's divide this cold ice snake. Yen Hao knew that Lin Xiuya had an extraordinary background and probably didn't like this cold ice snake, so he stopped pinching and divided the body of the cold ice snake equally with Han Yu and Mo Yen. After dividing the things, the 4 of them adjusted their breath and then rushed back to the outer courtyard of Canaan College together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm leaving first. See you at the inner courtyard selection competition. After returning to the outer courtyard of Canaan College, Lin Xiuya said goodbye to Han Yu and other people before heading towards his residence. See you later. After Lin Xiuya returned to his residence, he took out 7 green spirit fruits from the storage ring and planned to use them to break through to the 9-star realm of the Great Do Master. Lin Xiuya swallowed a green spirit fruit in one gulp, and suddenly, the huge medicinal power inside the green spirit fruit burst into Lin Xiuya's body. Lin Xiuya immediately calmed down and began to use his Qin Feng resolve, fully refining the medicinal power of the blue spirit fruit. There is no concept of time in cultivation, and after many days, Lin Xiuya has only obtained the last of the 7 green spirit fruits. Lin Xiuya has also reached the peak of the 8-star realm of the Great Dipper Master, and is only 1 step away from entering the 9-star realm of the Great Dipper Master. Lin Xiuya swallowed the last remaining green spirit fruit, and today he will break through to the 9-star Big Dipper Master. Amidst the tireless infusion of energy within the Bailing fruit, at some point, an extremely subtle crisp sound finally sounded within Lin Xiuya's body. Under this strange sound, Lin Xiuya's already egg-sized dojing suddenly swelled to the size of a fist, and a brilliant bright light constantly emerged, illuminating the entire Dantian cyclone of Lin Xiuya. In an instant, Lin Xiuya had already broken through to the 9-star master. I don't know how long it will be until the inner courtyard audition. Chapter 5. Geocentric Quenched Body Milk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Xiuya casually asked someone when he went out and found out that he had spent a month practicing this time. That means there is only over a month left until the inner courtyard selection competition. If one systematically absorbs the fighting spirit between heaven and earth for cultivation, then before the inner courtyard selection competition, one will definitely not be able to break through the fighting spirit. Lin Xiuya felt that it was not very safe to use the cultivation of the 9-star master to compete in the fire hunting tournament. After all, there will definitely be fighting spirit powerhouses among the old student teams in each fire hunting tournament, and coupled with the tacit cooperation between each member of the old student team, it will be even more difficult to pass. After much thought, Lin Xiuya only thought of something that could meet his needs. The Earth's Heart Quenched Body Milk. In the original work, this geocentric quenched milk was also found in the deep mountain ranges that I had previously visited. I just don't know if the snow demon ape in the original work is guarding the Earth's Heart Quenched Body Milk at this time. Practice is the only criterion for testing truth. 15 days later, in front of a valley in the deep mountain range, a sword-wielding man dressed in green muttered to himself, I don't know if it's here either. The man in green was wandering on the Lin Xiu cliff in the deep mountain range for 15 days. In recent days, Lin Xiuya has explored dozens of valleys, big and small. However, he didn't even look at the shadow of the Earth's hardened body milk. Instead, he encountered many monsters, and Lin Xiuya regarded them all as training to improve his practical experience. Lin Xiuya walked along the valley in front of him all the way to the bottom. At the end of the valley, Lin Xiuya saw a pitch-black cave, and his soul power explored it, but did not find any scent of warcraft. I'm lucky today. After a soft murmur, Lin Xiuya walked towards him. The area of the cave is quite large, with a high mountain top of more than 10 meters. In the cave, there are scattered rocks, and Lin Xiuya's footsteps quickly head towards the middle of the cave. Inside the cave, Lin Xiuya fully unleashed his soul power and explored every part of the cave. Under Lin Xiuya's tireless exploration, he finally found something unusual. Lin Xiuya discovered a large depression in the corner of the mountain wall, and his soul power felt down along the depression, sensing a pure unknown energy constantly emerging below. A hint of surprise flashed in Lin Xiuya's eyes as he quickly approached the sunken area, activated his internal fighting spirit, and formed a strong wind, blowing away the mud and sand covering the sunken area. After a while, a cave entrance that was large enough to accommodate Lin Xiuya's body appeared in front of Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya didn't think much about it. With a sliding shovel, he shoveled into the cave. Under the cave was a winding and dark underground passage. After walking in the dark for about 10 minutes, Lin Xiuya finally saw a glimmer of light not far ahead. Lin Xiuya took a deep breath, quickened his pace a bit, and walked towards the light. As Lin Xiuya stepped out of the dark passage with his feet, he suddenly felt a bright light in front of him. What appeared before him was an underground world covered in stalactites. Looking around, the milky white stalactites were continuous and emitted a faint white light, illuminating this underground world. It looks like the right place. Lin Xiuya began to search for the core-hardened milk in this underground world. The method to find geocentric quenched milk is very simple, which is to find the largest stalactite in this underground world, and the geocentric quenched milk is produced from it. After searching for more than 10 minutes, Lin Xiuya found a stalactite that was 100 meters long. Under this stalactite, there was an extremely large blue stone. At the top of the blue stone, there was a groove less than half a foot deep, which was directly facing the tip of the stalactite above. In the groove, there is 2 inches of milky white water. Above the lotion, there is a light white fog. The white fog is quite strange, and it never dissipates. With a movement of his expression, Lin Xiuya took out the jade bottle that had already been prepared and collected all the earth core quenched milk in the groove. After collecting the geocentric quenched milk from the groove, Lin Xiuya made a strong jump upwards, jumping onto the huge stalactite, and then gradually moving towards the bottom of the stalactite. The geocentric quenched milk just collected at the Quenched groove is just a diluted version of the true geocentric quenched milk, and the true geocentric quenched milk is still within this stalactite. After reaching the bottom of the stalactite, Lin Xiuya took out high-quality jade pieces and began to excavate inside the stalactite. Quickly, Lin Xiuya dug out a sticky liquid with a jade-like color. Scent it. Scent it. Lin Xiuya roughly felt that the energy contained in this true geocentric quenching milk was truly amazing. After swallowing it, Lin Xiuya has a great chance of breaking through to the realm of Doling in a very short time. Let's break through here to Doling and return to the academy. After loading geocentric body quenching cream essence, Lin Xiuya jumped back to the ground, sat down with his knees crossed, and then directly froze a mouthful of essence. However, as soon as the essence liquid entered the mouth, Lin Xiuya regretted it. In a moment of excitement, he forgot that the power of the Earth's heart-quenching body milk was strong. If he took it without mixing it into a special liquid, he was highly likely to be overwhelmed. The Earth's heart-quenching body milk has the miraculous effect of washing marrow and refining bones, with the added effect of helping people break through boundaries. However, for Lin Xiuya at this moment, this geocentric quenched milk is just a powerful bomb, or is it the kind that has already exploded? The jade bottle containing the earth core quenched body milk fell to the side, and at the same time, the massive medicinal power of the earth core quenched body milk surged through Lin Xiuya's body. Regardless of whether Lin Xiuya agreed or not, he directly helped Lin Xiuya broaden his muscles and meridians. It is obvious that the Earth's heart-quenched body milk from Zhaozuiyuan.com is not something that can only be refined by Lin Xiuya, a master of martial arts, at present. While suffering from non-human pain, Lin Xiuya's skin began to crack, and soon he completely turned into a bloody person without any intact skin on his body. The condition inside Lin Xiuya's body is also not optimistic. The major muscles and veins have been devastated and broken, and the bones have been washed away by the power of the Earth's core quenching milk. Rao is the sole power of Lin Xiuya, which is different from that of ordinary people. At this moment, he can no longer hold his tension. Lin Xiuya began to lose consciousness and fell into chaos, reaching a state where he wanted to say goodbye to the world. At the moment when Lin Xiuya completely lost consciousness, a faint invisible lightning suddenly burst out from his soul and came to his forehead. As soon as the lightning came out, it began to absorb various energies from around, including the medicinal power of the earth core quenching milk inside Lin Xiuya's body. In the end, even the earth core quenching milk that fell to the ground was absorbed by it. After absorbing enough energy, the lightning became solidified a bit. Subsequently, lightning shone brightly, releasing countless tiny arcs that enveloped Lin Xiuya's entire body. The arc that enveloped Lin Xiuya penetrated into his body, automatically helping him reshape and refine his dilapidated muscles and bones. Under the action of the arc, the scenery inside Lin Xiuya is greatly improved, with broad and tough muscles and bones generated within it. The diamond-shaped dojing at the Dantian area of Lin Xiu cliff also began to become round, and later a large number of spikes appeared on the round dojing, making the entire dojing look like a sea urchin. Those who have broken through doling know that sea urchin dojing is a symbol of transitioning from a great dosher to a doling. After Lin Xiuya broke through to doling, the lightning did not disappear, but continued to transform Lin Xiuya's body. Chapter 6. Spirit Fighting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know how many days passed, but Lin Xiuya finally regained his consciousness. After waking up, Lin Xiuya was bewildered, because he didn't know how he had refined the Earth's heart quenched body milk, nor did he know when he had advanced to the 3-star spirit fighting realm. Lin Xiuya patted his brain hard and determined that he couldn't remember anything, so he decided not to think too much, as it was all his own game. Lin Xiuya stood up, clenched his fists, and immediately realized that his physical strength was many times stronger than before. Hey! Am I really the protagonist? After adapting to the current power in the underground world, Lin Xiuya returned to the original path and left this blessed land. I don't know if I have passed the inner courtyard selection competition. With this doubt in mind, Lin Xiuya rushed back to Canaan College without any obstacles. The largest square outside the Canaan Academy has been crowded with dark crowds of people. That's right, Lin Xiuya happened to catch up with the inner courtyard selection competition of Canaan College. Lin Xiuya, the first class of Xuanjie, competes against Chen Tian, the third class of Xuanjie. As soon as Lin Xiuya arrived at the square where the inner court selection competition was held, the sound of Lin Xiuya playing came from the referee's seat. Didn't my protagonist's identity run away? Lin Xiuya thinks that the main characters all appear at this critical moment. With this thought in mind, Lin Xiuya's wind and fighting spirit slightly rotated and lightly landed on the center of the square, without lifting a patch of dust. Across from Lin Xiuya, a young man dressed in black had already stood, looking about the same size as Lin Xiuya. However, Lin Xiuya could see through the realm of the black-clad man at a glance. The 2-star Big Dipper Master. Xuanjie 3rd Class, Chen Tian, please advise, the man in black arched his hand towards Lin Xiuya. And this person clearly knows the origin of Lin Xiuya, with a serious expression on his face. The strength of the man in black is considered good among the students in the outer courtyard of Canaan College, but it is slightly inferior compared to Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya just wanted to say, my advantage lies in me. However, surface work still needs to be done well, and Lin Xiuya also responded with an arch of his hand, Xuanjie Class 1, Lin Xiuya, please advise. Brother Lin, pay attention. Chen Tian took out his long sword weapon from his storage ring, held it with one hand, and with a fierce step from his foot, the long sword vibrated and stabbed towards Lin Xiuya. Seeing this, Lin Xiuya's fighting energy was on top of his hands, and he was ready to use his advanced fighting skill, Snake Entangler, to defeat Chen Tian as his opponent. And Chen Tian, who was stabbing his sword, happened to fall into the attack range of Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya directly hit the snake with his stick, his right hand bypassed the long sword that Chen Tian had stabbed and touched his right arm. His left hand blocked Chen Tian's left hand, and in Chen Tian's panicked expression, Lin Xiuya grabbed Chen Tian's right arm with his right hand, pulled and pushed it, and finally gathered strength to make up for it. He slapped Chen Tian's chest and knocked him off the arena with one palm. I've accepted it. Xuanjie Class 1, Lin Xiuya wins. Seeing that Chen Tian had already been kicked off the stage, the referee on the bench immediately announced Lin Xiuya's victory. At the same time, the spectators in the audience also cheered and praised the strength of Lin Xiuya. Suddenly, Lin Xiuya felt a slight sensation and looked up at the center of the stands. There were 4 elderly people with white hair and beards sitting upright, and at the same time, the 4 of them were also observing Lin Xiuya, and there was still communication among them. If the sensing is not wrong, Lin Xiuya should have broken through to the level of doling. That's right. This son has indeed reached the realm of fighting spirit. He should have had a chance to improve so quickly. It's extremely extreme. Sure, Lin Xiuya. I haven't seen him for over a month, and his cultivation has improved a lot. After Lin Xiuya stepped down, Yan Hao approached him and said with a smile. I've been lucky lately. Lin Xiuya said without any problem, and my luck has been quite good lately. It seems that the top spot in this inner courtyard selection competition is between you and Lu Qing, Yan Hao said as he looked at a man in the distance who was also quite muscular. Lin Xiuya also followed Yan Hao's gaze and knew that the sturdy man was Lu Qing. However, Lin Xiuya didn't think much because everything had changed since he was promoted to doling. Alright, Yan Hao, I'll go back first. Lin Xiuya planned to go back first to confirm something, so he said goodbye to Yan Hao. Are you leaving now? We'll be playing with Lu Qing soon. Don't you stay and take a look? Yan Hao felt that Lin Xiuya was becoming more and more mysterious now. Don't look anymore, there's something to deal with. Lin Xiuya smiled, knowing that Yan Hao wanted him to see some details of Lu Qing, know oneself and the enemy, and win every battle. Okay, then you go back first, I'll take a look. Yan Hao didn't want to continue staying in the forest to repair the cliff, so he waved his hand as a farewell. As soon as Lin Xiuya returned to his residence, he took out a crystal from his storage ring that could test his own attributes. Because at the beginning of the battle, Lin Xiuya felt that his fighting spirit was no longer just a wind attribute. Lin Xiuya covered the crystal with one hand and injected his fighting spirit into his body. As soon as Lin Xiuya's fighting spirit entered the crystal, a dazzling light burst out from the book garden www.zhaozhuiyuan.com crystal. The light is mainly blue, supplemented by purple, shining with the 24K titanium alloy divine eye of Lin Xiuya. The blue and purple colors appearing on the crystal indicate that Lin Xiuya now has both wind and lightning attributes. What's going on? Was it when he was unconscious in the underground world that he was transformed? Lin Xiuya couldn't figure out why he suddenly added a thunder attribute. At this point, Lin Xiuya couldn't say much and had to silently accept this reality. What are you doing when you have nothing to do? Practice. Lin Xiuya didn't think much. He had already traveled through it himself, so what else is impossible? So Lin Xiuya obediently started practicing inside the house. I don't know if I don't fix it, but I was startled when I fixed it. I didn't pay attention before, but now when I calm down and practice, Lin Xiuya finds that his speed of absorbing fighting energy has doubled. Cool. Lin Xiuya is now very capable of sucking, and anyone who comes can't bear it. When Lin Xiuya started practicing, he couldn't stop and didn't even notice the changes of the sun and moon outside. It wasn't until Yan Hao knocked on the door that Lin Xiuya withdrew from his cultivation state. Today, we should be able to determine the 50 spots eligible to enter the inner courtyard. I think so. Originally, only over 300 people participated in this inner courtyard selection competition, and the competition system was an elimination system, so it wouldn't take much time to determine the top 50. Is that right? Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao rushed towards the large square outside the Canaan College, chatting aimlessly. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao both had impressive abilities, and their footwork was naturally not slow. They quickly arrived at the big square of the competition. And the square was already bustling with people. Chapter 7. Top 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lin Xiuya, it's your turn. Yan Hao took a photo of Lin Xiuya, who had chosen to close his eyes and rest on the sidelines due to boredom in the competition. Well, let's go, ignore it. Lin Xiuya didn't know what the matching mechanism was for this inner courtyard selection competition. Today, he was given an opponent with only a 9-star master cultivation. Huang Jie, Class 1, Yi Fan. Senior Lin, please advise. Upon hearing this person's name, Lin Xiuya was startled. People who usually choose this name are usually ruthless. Fortunately, when he was taking action, Lin Xiuya realized that the Yi Fan in front of him was truly ordinary. Lin Xiuya easily threw it off the stage with one hand wrapped around the snake. Xuanjie Class 1, Lin Xiuya wins. Amidst the referee's announcement, Lin Xiuya calmly left the field. Yan Hao guessed well. On the second day of the inner courtyard selection competition, the top 50 were determined. Tomorrow will be the final selection competition. The day after, the final selection competition arrived as scheduled. Dong! A crisp bell chimed in the square, indicating that the final selection competition was coming. In the center of the square, where all the eyes of the audience gathered, Vice Dean of Canaan College, Hu Qian, slowly stood up and announced the rules of the competition in his powerful voice. Yesterday, the top 50 students in the inner college selection competition were determined, and all the top 50 students can enter the inner college to study. However, if you want to be faster and obtain better cultivation conditions in the inner college, then you must do your best to achieve your best results today. After a pause, Hu Qian continued, in previous years, the selection rounds were all based on a turn-based competition. However, this year, the situation is quite special, so we have slightly changed the final round of competition mode. Now, please welcome the top 50 students to come on stage. Lin Xiuya felt that Hu Qian was looking at him intentionally or unintentionally while saying these words. Although everyone had doubts about Hu Qian's words, they obediently took to the stage one after another. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao also went up the stage together, standing on the left and right, waiting for Hu Qian's next arrangements. Seeing all the top 50 students on stage, Hu Qian stroked his beard and smiled, "All right, our competition system this year is a big melee elimination system. It means that no matter what method you use, as long as you can stick to staying on stage, even if you win, the longer you stay on stage, the higher your ranking will be." When Hu Qian's words were spoken, it caused a huge uproar both among the 50 students on stage and among the audience below. Someone couldn't help but ask Hu Qian, "Dean, is it okay to join forces with others to resist the enemy?" Note, what I'm saying is that you can use any means. It's also allowed for you to form a team to fight with others, Hu Qian explained before loudly saying, "Do you all understand the rules of the game?" Understood. Everyone was not a fool, so they quickly understood what Hu Qian meant. Now, some people have started to form a group. Okay, I announce the final round of elimination matches in the inner courtyard selection competition, officially starting. As the sound of Hu Qian fell, battles erupted everywhere in the competition venue. Almost everyone wants to get ahead of others to ensure they can achieve a higher ranking. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao exchanged a glance and tacitly did not choose to take action against each other, as it was customary to achieve first and fifth place in this inner courtyard selection competition without distinction. Anyway, the top 5 would receive a special reward. The first one is just a nice name, and Lin Xiuya doesn't care about it. Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao formed a 2-person team to guard against others. In the early stages of the melee, no one or small team came to trouble Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao. After all, Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao's personal strength is enough to rank in the top 5 among these 50 people. And Yan Hao, holding a large tungsten steel hammer in his hand, also gives people a lot of pressure. As time went on, there were soon only about 20 people left on the field. The remaining 20 or so people were divided into 6 teams, big and small. Lin Xiuya and his team only had 2 people, but after a female voice sounded, Lin Xiuya and his team expanded to 5 people, Senior Lin. It turned out that the silver-haired beauty Han Yu was approaching Lin Xiuya and Yan Hao with 2 men. The meaning is very obvious, it is to merge with Lin Xiuya and them. Lin Xiuya nodded and expressed his willingness to team up with Han Yu and the three of them. One of the two men brought by Han Yu is an acquaintance of Lin Xiuya. The 3-star Big Dipper Master Mo Yen. As for the other one, Lin Xiuya has no impression, only the cultivation of the 9-star dosha. Lin Xiuya looked around and saw that the team composed of Lu Qing as the core posed the greatest threat to the 5 of them at the scene. Lin Xiuya counted, and Lu Qing and his team happened to have 5 people. People of similar levels always have some common topics and corresponding tacit understanding. With just one eye contact, Lin Xiuya and Lu Qing each surrounded the remaining 3 teams with their own teams. The 3 surrounded teams joined forces to fight against Lin Xiuya and Lu Qing when they saw their actions. Unfortunately, almost all the experts in the outer courtyard of the entire Canaan Academy are in the 2 teams of Lin Xiuya and Lu Qing, so the 3 teams surrounded are more numerous, but they are still not opponents of Lin Xiuya and his team. For the members with slightly lower cultivation in the 3 teams, Lin Xiuya can almost easily remove them with just one move. Bang! As Lu Qing knocked the last person from the 3 teams to the ground with one claw, it meant that only Lin Xiuya's team and Lu Qing's team were left on the field. At this moment, the scene was silent, and even the noisy audience suddenly fell silent. However, this is just the tranquility before the storm, as can be felt from the gunpowder-filled eyes of both sides. Leave Lin Xiuya to me, you go stop the others. Lu Qing was the first to break this silence. He went to Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com and took out a long spear embedded with a magic core from his storage ring. He looked solemnly at Lin Xiuya across from him, because he couldn't understand Lin Xiuya now. Lu Qing is now in the realm of the 8-star master, and he speculates that Lin Xiuya may have taken him one step faster to reach the 9-star master realm. But what he didn't expect was that Lin Xiuya not only broke through to Doling, but also became a 3-star Doling. Lin Xiuya, Yan Hao, and Han Yu exchanged a glance, then used their martial arts skills to push towards Lu Qing. Lin Xiuya plans not to use a long sword, but to use his snake wrappers to fight against Lu Qing and see how strong he is now. Humph. Lu Qing couldn't help but snort coldly when he saw that Lin Xiuya had no intention of using weapons. Although he may not understand Lin Xiuya now, he doesn't take Lu Qing seriously in his actions. Immediately, Lu Qing fired an emotional shot at Lin Xiuya. Faced with Lu Qing's emotions, Lin Xiuya dodged the tip of his gun and reached out with both hands, grabbing the handle of Lu Qing's long spear. After Lin Xiuya broke through to the realm of Doling, he had the ability to condense Duqi. Therefore, he used Duqi to condense into a pair of light and thin Duqi gloves on his hands, in order to enhance the power of his snake-wrapping hands. However, as a man second only to Lin Xiuya, Lu Qing naturally wouldn't let Lin Xiuya easily take control of his spear. Lu Qing's fighting spirit surged rapidly inside his body, covering his long spear, causing it to vibrate continuously, wanting to shake Lin Xiuya back. How could Lu Qing know that Lin Xiuya's cultivation level is not only much higher than him, but also his physical strength is much stronger? So Lu Qing did not shake Lin Xiuya back, instead Lin Xiuya grabbed the handle of Lu Qing's spear with both hands and exerted force. Chapter 8. Top 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your power. After Lu Qing's long spear was snatched by Lin Xiuya, he knew that Lin Xiuya's physical realm was much stronger than him now. For a moment, Lu Qing couldn't accept the change in Lin Xiuya. Because in the past, Lu Qing and Lin Xiuya were almost evenly matched, and each had their own advantages. Lin Xiuya's advantage before was speed, while Lu Qing's advantage was strength. But what's going on now? Be careful. I'm very different now from before. Lin Xiuya's kindness awakened Lu Qing, who was in a state of shock. After Lu Qing regained his senses, Lin Xiuya threw Lu Qing's spear aside. Still using his snake-wrapping hand to attack Lu Qing. Lu Qing, an excellent person like him, naturally has good psychological qualities and quickly regains consciousness. He quickly mobilizes his internal fighting energy and uses his second famous fighting skill, Big Splitting Coffin Claw, to deal with Lin Xiuya's attack. Lu Qing's claw technique is mainly highlighted in the split character. After using the Great Split Coffin Splitting Claw, there is a faint golden fighting spirit wrapped around his fingertips, which is extremely fierce and has a sense of cracking the surrounding air. And Lin Xiuya's snake wrapping hand is mainly reflected in the wrapping words, with a green fighting spirit wrapped around Lin Xiuya's hands, giving a soft and lingering taste. Lin Xiuya faced the invisible claws of Lu Qing approaching without any panic, and took the initiative to pat them with both hands, successfully holding hands. Lin Xiuya relied on his advantage of using his Duqi condensate to remove Lu Qing's strength, and wrapped his hands around Lu Qing's arms like a spirit snake. Ignoring Lu Qing's unwillingness, Lin Xiuya's fighting spirit surged again in his body, rushing towards his own hands to assist him. In this way, Lin Xiuya then pulled and pushed Lu Qing back, vigorously slapping his chest with a palm. Lu Qing's fighting armor condensed in his chest instantly shattered, and Lu Qing himself flew backwards. Don't be fooled by Lin Xiuya's emphasis on snake wrapping, his hammering is also very painful. When Lu Qing was flying upside down, Lin Xiuya didn't miss the opportunity to win. He stomped heavily and rose into the air, quickly approaching Lu Qing. During this period, Lin Xiuya also used his fighting spirit to condense a palm-long small sword. After Lin Xiuya approached Lu Qing, the small sword pressed against his neck. "I'll accept it, brother Lu." Lu Qing looked at the small sword condensed from his fighting spirit at Lin Xiuya and instantly understood where he had lost. "This is the end of the matter, let's start with the meal." "Cough, I'll give up my life first." Although Lin Xiuya won against Lu Qing, the situation on Yan Hao's side is not optimistic. Because the other 4 members of Lu Qing's team are all experts, 2 of whom are 5-star fighters, and the remaining 2 are also 2 4-star fighters. On Yan Hao's side, except for Yan Hao who has the realm of a 7-star Big Dipper that can stabilize the 4 members of Lu Qing's team, Han Yu and Mo Yan only have the realm of a 3-star Big Dipper, which is weaker than the 4 members of Lu Qing's side, let alone the unrelated 9-star Dipper. Now it's all thanks to Yan Hao, this devilish and muscular person, who is working hard to ensure that Han Yu, Mo Yan, and the unrelated 3 are not eliminated. Hurry up. Don't even hide it. One of the 4 members of the Lu Qing team caught a glimpse that Lin Xiuya had already invited Lu Qing off the stage. They became anxious and shouted to the other 3 to quickly work together to eliminate Yan Hao and the others, and then work together to deal with Lin Xiuya. The reaction was good, but unfortunately Lin Xiuya was faster. Lin Xiuya directly used his Xian level intermediate combat skill, Qing Xian Feng Sha, by pinching the formula. Countless blue swords, condensed from fighting spirit, hovered around Lin Xiuya. Finally, guided by Lin Xiuya, they split into 4 streams and shot at the remaining 4 members of Lu Qing's team. Under the attack of Lin Xiuya's Qing Xian Feng Sha, the 4 had to stop their attacks and instead engage in defense. Yan Hao's combat skills can be considered quite good. When a large number of blue small swords from Lin Xiuya hit him, he began to exert his strongest strike, Shock Hammer. This earth-shaking hammer is Yan Hao's signature skill, as well as a high-level combat skill with extraordinary power. A large amount of soil fighting spirit covered Yan Hao's tungsten steel hammer, making it incredibly huge. Then, with the swing of Yan Hao, the sledgehammer hit a person with a 5-star Master's Cultivation on the opposite side, causing them to lose their combat ability and go out. With the addition of Lin Xiuya, the situation on the field became one-sided, and the members of the Lin Xiuya team were all blasted off the stage, leaving only Lin Xiuya and his 5 members on the field. At this moment, it also means that the Inner Courtyard selection competition has officially ended. This year's Inner Court selection tournament has come to an end. After fierce battles, the top 5 have already been formed, and they are Lin Xiuya, Yan Hao, Han Yu, Mo Yan, and Mo Shuo. Hu Qian stood up from the referee's seat and personally announced the list of the top 5 in the inner court selection tournament. As soon as the sound of Hu Qian fell, the audience immediately heard thunderous cheers. And Lin Xiuya also gained many fans and younger brothers. Lin Xiuya, find Xiuya www.zhaoxuyuan.com. I love you. Lin Xiuya, I love you, I want to have a monkey with you. Lin Xiuya, I like you. My chrysanthemums only bloom for you. Upon hearing various tiger and wolf words uploaded from the audience, Lin Xiuya exclaimed that he couldn't resist, especially the words of the chrysanthemum brother, which made Lin Xiuya shudder and quietly perform a rectal lifting exercise. After the selection competition came to an end, there was no immediate award ceremony, but as each contestant withdrew, the competition came to a complete end. According to the rules of Canaan Academy, the top 50 contestants in the inner courtyard selection competition must prepare to enter the inner courtyard within 7 days. Once the 7-day period is up, they will be uniformly arranged to be taken to the inner courtyard. And the top 5 contestants in the competition have an opportunity to go to the Canaan Academy library to select treasures during these 7 days. Due to the fact that Lin Xiuya, Yan Hao, and other 5 people did not suffer any serious injuries during the selection competition, on the 2nd day after the competition ended, Lin Xiuya and his 5 people were taken to the library of Canaan University by Vice Dean Hu Qian. If Lin Xiuya remembers correctly, there are still 2 peak warriors of Dozong in this library, Qianmu and Bai Lei. Lin Xiuya was still a bit excited as he was about to see the legendary terrifying and formidable figure. Under the leadership of Hu Qian, Lin Xiuya and the others walked into the secret entrance of Hu Qian's study. Then, through a dark passage, Lin Xiuya and the others arrived at the location of the library of Canaan University. What caught the eye was a large open space, on which stood a huge ancient and rustic tower. There is a plaque hanging on the pavilion with the words, "Library Pavilion," written on it. Hu Qian clenched his fists in the direction of the library and said, "The top 5 contestants in this year's inner court selection competition have been determined. According to the rules, I will bring them 5 here to select treasures. Could you please open the door, Mr. Air?" Chapter 9. Treasures of the Library. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 10. Fire Hunting Competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, Lin Xiuya and his 50 companions, led by Hu Qian and several elders at the level of Dowang, boarded the Griffin Beast of Canaan Academy and headed to the inner courtyard of Canaan Academy. The college arranged a total of 10 Griffin Beasts for Lin Xiuya and the others, in groups of 5. Each group had 1 Griffin Beast, while Hu Qian and several elders flew on their own. Lin Xiuya, Yan Hao, Han Yu, Mo Yan, and Mo Shua sat on the same Griffin Beast. Lin Xiuya, what kind of scenery do you think the inner courtyard is? Yan Hao asked Lin Xiuya, who was standing beside him, on the back of the Griffin Beast. Upon hearing these words, Han Yu and the 3 of them also turned their gaze to Lin Xiuya's side, wanting to hear what Lin Xiuya said. What kind of scenery? It's just that there are more and better cultivation resources than the outer courtyard, which can help us improve our cultivation faster. Of course, there will be more outstanding people in the inner courtyard, and the competition in the inner courtyard will correspondingly be much greater than in the outer courtyard. Lin Xiuya smiled faintly. That's right. Yan Hao felt that what Lin Xiuya said made sense. After entering the inner courtyard, everyone should practice well. Only by becoming stronger can one obtain more resources. Lin Xiuya glanced at the 4 of them and said. Upon hearing Lin Xiuya's words, Yan Hao and the 4 of them remained silent, each bowing their heads and thinking about something. After more than an hour, Hu Qian, who was flying in front of the griffin, suddenly stopped. And command 10 griffin beasts to fall to the ground. With a big wave of his hand, the landed Hu Qian unleashed a burst of white energy. In no time, a silver space gate that was 7 or 8 feet high appeared out of thin air. "Follow me inside." After Hu Qian said a word, he was the first to step into the silver gate. Lin Xiuya and his companions also followed closely behind the Hu Qian and penetrated. After leaving the silver gate, Lin Xiuya and his companions arrived at a green forest. And in front of them at Lin Xiuya, there are 2 old men with dozens of young people waiting for them. Seeing them, Hu Qian approached and started talking. Upon hearing the conversation between Hu Qian and those 2 old men, it is not difficult to know that they are the elders of the inner courtyard of Canaan College, and the dozens of young people behind the 2 old men are students of the inner courtyard. After chatting with the elders of the 2 inner courtyards and Hu Qian, they waved their hands and threw out 50 painted black crystal cards, suspended in front of Lin Xiuya and the 50 others. Each crystal card is printed with a large red number, 5. Some things may be difficult to explain for a while, so I won't go into too much detail about the function of this crystal card. Now, all you need to remember is to protect the crystal card in your hands well and not be snatched by others. Because the inner courtyard of our Canaan Academy is behind this forest, we will need 50 of you to pass through this forest on your own later. One of the old men pointed to the forest behind him, and then pointed to the dozens of old students behind him, saying, "According to the regulations of the college, these old students will block you from reaching the inner courtyard smoothly in the forest, and at the same time, they will also seize the fire energy on your crystal card, which is the number on your crystal card. Lastly, the earlier you arrive at the inner courtyard, the richer the reward you will receive." Another dean took over the conversation. "Later on, you will be divided into 10 groups based on the group of the griffin beast, and enter the forest in groups of 5 people. Now I announce that this edition of the fire hunting competition has officially begun." In the forest, Lin Xiuya and the 5 of them were aimlessly strolling around. It wasn't because Lin Xiuya and the others didn't want to reach the inner courtyard quickly, but because the forest was too big and there was no map. Lin Xiuya and the others had no idea in which direction the inner courtyard was, and could only wander around in the forest like headless flies. If only there were a map. Yan Hao, who had been wandering in the forest for a long time, couldn't help but exclaim, "The map is here." Lin Xiuya, who was walking at the front of the team, suddenly turned his head and smiled at Yan Hao. Yan Hao didn't understand the meaning of Lin Xiuya. Why does Lin Xiuya say that the map has arrived? It is because Lin Xiuya's extraordinary soul power has already sensed that there is a battle happening near them. If there is a battle, it most likely means that there are old players competing for new players. If the old players have it, then there will be a map, right? "Follow me." Lin Xiuya greeted Yan Hao and the 4 of them and rushed towards the side where the battle had occurred. When Lin Xiuya arrived, the battle had just ended. There were a total of 10 people fighting before, but now there are 5 people standing and 5 people lying on the ground. The 5 standing people are searching for the fire energy of the 5 lying down. After searching, the leader looked at the other 4 and said, "Let's go. Keep looking for other new teams." Senior. Do new students want it? After Lin Xiuya and the 5 old students finished searching for the fire energy of the new students, they obediently sent them to the door. Yan Hao and Han Yu also followed Lin Xiuya and appeared in front of the 5 old students. "Hey! We're lucky today. The chives have been cut one after another." The leader of the old student who spoke before laughed when he saw Lin Xiuya and his 5 new students unknowingly bringing them to his door. "I don't know if the sky is high or the earth is thick," the other old students on the side agreed. "Hands on." Lin Xiuya didn't want to say anything more and called on Yan Hao and the others to go up and fight quickly. The 5 old students all have the strength of a 4 or 5-star battle master. The strength of this old student team is quite good, but unfortunately they encountered Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya directly dealt with the strongest 2 of the old students on his own. Yan Hao and the 4 of them worked together to deal with the remaining 3 old students. As soon as he arrived, Lin Xiuya used his newly learned ground-level combat technique, Tornado Storm, and used his powerful wind attribute to form two several-meter-high tornadoes, rolling towards the two old players on the opposite side. The two old students across from Lin Xiuya had a tense expression. At first, they thought that Lin Xiuya was coming directly to attack them to seek abuse. However, when they felt that Lin Xiuya was facing more than their fighting spirit, they knew that they might have kicked an iron plate today. Wrong. What Lin Xiuya wants to say is that he is actually a steel plate. The two tornadoes released by Lin Xiuya blew directly towards the two old students. The tornadoes instantly enveloped the bodies of the two old students, and the blades inside the tornado ravaged them to their heart's content, constantly cutting through the fighting armor they had gathered. Well, the effect is pretty good. The newly learned Tornado Storm has such power, and Lin Xiuya is very satisfied with it. Is falling leaves relative? Aren't those two elderly people at this moment just fallen leaves? Taking advantage of his illness and taking his life, while the two old students were still struggling to resist the erosion of the tornado storm, Lin Xiuya directly took out his magic core long sword, then threw two sword energies and struck at the two senior students, causing them to temporarily lose their combat power. After Lin Xiuya quickly eliminated the two strongest old students, he turned around to help Yan Hao and his team solve the remaining three old students. Looking at the old man lying on the ground, Lin Xiuya smiled and asked the leading old man in a gentle tone, "Excuse me, senior, do you have a map of this forest there?" "Yes, looking for Xiuya on www.zhaoxuyuan.com is just a rough route map." The old leader knew the current situation and knew that Lin Xiuya was a presence he couldn't afford. Lin Xiuya hasn't entered the inner courtyard yet. He can easily defeat him. Can he afford to provoke him? Here. The old man changed from lying to sitting, then took out a rough map from his storage ring and handed it to Lin Xiuya. Lin Xiuya glanced at the map, confirmed its accuracy, and put it in his storage ring. Then he asked some questions about the inner courtyard, mainly for Yan Hao and his team. Lin Xiuya probably remembers those things about the inner courtyard. After asking, Lin Xiuya looked at the old man with a smile on his face. "Is there anything else?" The old man felt uneasy as Lin Xiuya stared at him, feeling like nothing had happened. "It's nothing, but could you please give me your fire crystal card, senior?" Looking at Lin Xiuya's harmless smile, the old man hesitated for a moment. However, thinking that Lin Xiuya didn't have terrifying strength, he finally handed him a pale blue fire crystal card with a painful expression on his face. Lin Xiuya took a glance and found that this old man had 30 days of fire energy. "Thank you, senior." Lin Xiuya took the old student's light blue fire crystal card, then took out his own painted black fire crystal card, stacked the two together, and rubbed them vigorously. Suddenly, the number on Lin Xiuya's lacquered black fire crystal card changed from 5 to 30, and the number on Lao Xing's light blue fire crystal card changed from 32 to 7. If an old student competes with a new student, they will eventually leave 2 days of fire energy for the new student, while if a new student competes with an old student, they will leave 7 days of fire energy for the old student. At the same time, with the signal of Lin Xiuya, Yan Hao and the 4 others each snatched a certain amount of fire energy points from the remaining 4 old students.